Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mr. English Podcast. I'm Emma. You speak English every day, and there is one mistake, one specific, quiet, invisible mistake that is very likely in almost every email you send, every meeting you join, every plan you describe out loud. It is grammatically fine. It will never get corrected. And native speakers notice it every single time.
Hey everyone, I'm James, and I know this because Emma caught me doing it last week in an actual email that I had already sent.
I'm going to read you that email in about 60 seconds. And by the time I finish reading it, you will probably hear exactly what James couldn't hear when he wrote it.
And then Emma is going to tell me she used to make the exact same mistake for years, which makes me feel slightly better about the whole thing.
Slightly. Let's start with the email.
Welcome! So glad you're here. This is Mr. English Podcast. Today is one mistake explained properly, fixed permanently. No list, no 10 tips, just one thing. And the question that fixes it every time.
James, read us the email.
Okay, this is a real email I sent to a client last week. Adopting flat, standard reading and email voice. Hi, just a quick update. I will send you the report by Friday. I will join the Friday call at 3, and I will follow up with the team next week to confirm everything. Let me know if you need anything else.
Deadpan, letting the silence hang for a beat. Did you hear it?
Apparently, I did not hear it when I wrote it.
Rhythm increases, building the case. 3 times. Will send. Will join. Will follow up. And here is the thing. Everything in that email was already planned. You had already decided to send the report. The Friday call was already in your diary. Following up was already on your to-do list. None of it was a decision you were making while typing.
So, what's wrong with Will?
Will sounds like you are deciding right now, in this moment, as the sentence leaves your mouth or your keyboard. That's what will is for, spontaneous decisions. Oh, you need the file? I'll send it right now. Decided at this moment. Will. Perfect.
But when I write, I will join the call at 3?
It sounds like joining that call is a decision you just made in the email, which makes you sound like someone who wasn't sure they were coming until they started typing. And in a professional context, that tiny impression, that slight suggestion of, I haven't really planned this, is the damage. It's never dramatic. Nobody will reply saying you used the wrong future tense. Slightly more insightful, they'll just have a vague, unexamined feeling that you're slightly less organized than you are.
That's genuinely unsettling because it means I've probably been creating that impression for years.
Years. I know, because I did exactly the same thing. And I'm going to tell you when I stopped. But first, the other future forms and when to use them.
So, what should the email have said?
2 options, depending on how planned it feels. For something concrete, already arranged, already in your diary, present continuous. I'm sending you the report by Friday. I'm joining the call at 3. It sounds scheduled. It sounds like it already exists somewhere.
And if it's a plan, an intention, but not quite as fixed as an appointment?
Going to. I'm going to follow up with the team next week. A plan you'd already formed. A decision that existed before this sentence? Going to. Not will.
So the corrected email would be...
The corrected email would be, I'm sending you the report by Friday. I'm joining the Friday call at 3, and I'm going to follow up with the team next week. 3 sentences, same information, completely different impression.
It actually reads more confidently. Like I know exactly what I'm doing instead of making promises as I type them.
That is exactly the shift. Will for pre-planned things sounds like a promise. Going to, and present continuous for pre-planned things, sound like a fact. And facts sound more reliable than promises.
How do you remember which to use in the moment, though? Because in a real conversation, there isn't time to think through all of this.
One question. That's the entire fix. One question you ask yourself before any future sentence. Did this decision exist before I started speaking? If yes, going to, or present continuous if it's firmly arranged. If no, you just decided right now, will.
Will is for now, going to is for already.
That's it. 9 words. Will is for now, going to is for already.
And once you hear it that way, I genuinely think you can't unhear it. I've been catching myself this whole week since Emma pointed it out, rewriting sentences before I send them.
Friends, here is your first comment challenge. Think of something you have coming up this week. A meeting, a call, a task you've already planned. Write it in the comments using going to or present continuous, not will. I'm meeting my team on Thursday. I'm going to finish the report tonight. Show us you've got it.
Okay, deep dive time. Tell me everything.
So the amygdala is a small almond-shaped structure deep inside your brain, and its main job is threat detection. It's incredibly fast, faster than conscious thought, and it's constantly scanning your environment, asking one simple question: am I safe right now?
And apparently, standing in front of an intimidating stranger asking me a question in English counts as not safe.
To your amygdala, unfortunately, yes. Especially if you already carry some anxiety around speaking English, or fear of judgment, or past embarrassing moments. The amygdala remembers emotional intensity, not logic. So if you've frozen before, your amygdala has essentially filed speaking English under pressure into the same folder as genuine danger.
That's such an important point, actually, because it explains why it gets worse the more it happens, like a loop feeding itself.
Exactly, a self-reinforcing loop. And here's where our second word comes in: cortisol. When the amygdala sounds its alarm, your body releases cortisol, which is a stress hormone. Cortisol is incredibly useful if you're actually running from danger. It sharpens reflexes, increases heart rate, prepares your muscles for action.
Sounds great for running from a lion. Less great for a coffee break chat.
Precisely, because cortisol, in high amounts, actually suppresses activity in a different part of the brain entirely, the prefrontal cortex, which happens to be exactly where sophisticated language, vocabulary retrieval, and complex sentence structure live.
Wait, so the same chemical that would help me sprint away from danger is literally shutting down my ability to speak nicely?
Exactly that. Your body is essentially saying, forget fancy vocabulary, we might need to run, even though obviously you don't need to run from a coffee break conversation. This entire process is what we're calling a neurological hijack, our third term for today. It's when a lower, more primitive survival system takes control away from your higher, more sophisticated thinking brain.
A neurological hijack. That phrase genuinely makes so much sense now. It's not that I forgot English. My prefrontal cortex just got overruled.
Overruled is such a good way to put it. And that prefrontal cortex, by the way, is where our fourth term lives: executive function. This refers to your brain's higher level management skills: planning, focus, working memory, and crucially, retrieving the right words at the right moment. It's essentially your brain's CEO.
The CEO who gets kicked out of the building the second cortisol shows up.
Exactly. The CEO gets locked out of their own office, and a much more primitive, panicked employee takes over instead. Someone who only knows how to shout run or freeze.
Which brings us to our fifth and final term: freeze response.
Yes, Freeze response is exactly what it sounds like. One of the body's automatic reactions to a perceived threat, alongside fight or flight. Sometimes, instead of fighting or fleeing, your nervous system simply shuts down output entirely, which is exactly that blank, silent, yes, very good moment you experienced.
Okay, so let's recap these 5 terms together, because I think this really is the whole story in miniature. The amygdala detects a perceived threat, releases cortisol, which triggers a neurological hijack, overpowering your executive function, and the result is a freeze response.
Beautifully summarized. And honestly, understanding this sequence is already half the solution. Because now you know you're not bad at English in these moments. You're simply experiencing a completely normal, ancient survival mechanism firing at the wrong target.
Okay, that's genuinely comforting, but I want the practical part now, James. How do we actually stop the hijack? How do I get my CEO back in the building? Great question. And here's the core technique we teach for this. We call it downshifting the alarm. The goal isn't to eliminate nervousness completely. That's unrealistic. The goal is to lower cortisol just enough that your prefrontal cortex can stay online. Okay, walk me through it. Step 1, physical grounding. Before speaking, take one slow breath where your exhale is longer than your inhale. This single action directly signals your nervous system that you are safe, because rapid, shallow breathing is what your body associates with danger. A longer exhale is like sending a memo straight to the amygdala, saying, false alarm, stand down. A memo to the amygdala. I love that image. Step 2, lower the stakes internally. Instead of thinking, I need to sound impressive, reframe it as, I just need to communicate one simple idea. Remember, high performance pressure is exactly what triggers the hijack in the first place. So lowering the pressure, even artificially, keeps the alarm quieter.